What is going on, good people? We are back again for another edition of That's a Bet podcast. You know who it is, man. It's your boy, Two T's, coming to you live from the Tab Studios. And ladies and gentlemen, this is like an important, awesome, amazing show. But before we even get into all that, you know I got to start with a little flow and introduce the best co-host on the East Coast. Y'all know him as Will Judson or Willie J. But y'all know what I call him. Say it with me. Willy, baby. Willie, baby. What's going on, man?
Not too much. You know what I do. I'm staying sharp and following the money.
Hey, all the time, man. He following that bread. And you know, we also following Will. We're following like 1,000 subscribers that are looking back at us. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
big time. That's big time.
1K, you know, I'm gonna start calling you 1K Willie, man. That's 1K Willie right there. You know what I mean? Because when he talks, he just brings in 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Shout out to all our subscribers, man. Wow. Will, 1K, man, we made it.
Halfway through the season, man. We expect that thing to be at 3,500.
That's crazy.
That's not the right math, but by the end of the year, 3,500 if we got 1,000 right now. So
hey, that's the goal, man. We got to take this thing to a whole new level. And, you know, we can't thank you guys enough. We appreciate all the love. We appreciate, you know, all the support. Just clicking that subscribe button, hitting the like button. Just continue to do that. Show us some love, man. Willie J, I know this was our vision, man. You know what I mean? But when we started it, we was like, hey, we got to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, 1,000 followers on Instagram, all that stuff. And we hit the first mark, YouTube, man. So how's it make you feel, man? You feel pretty good right now?
I feel good, man. But, you know, it just makes me hungry. We got to keep going.
Damn right. Hey, we over here like Zeke Elliott against the damn Giants, man. Every first down, we getting that little more and more. So, hey, man, I'm so excited for the show, y'all. We are about to give you another great That's a Bet podcast edition. Will, what is this, week 10? Man.
Yeah.
Week 10. Hey, first of all, Will, you know what? Let's apologize to everybody, though. So, guys, last week we didn't have a pod. I want to apologize. There was a lot of people texting. I know Will was getting text messages. I was. We had some crazy technical difficulties. We tried to work them out, but our pod was just all effed up. We couldn't get it out, but we're going to give you guys that real heat this week. And the crazy thing was, Will, the stuff we recorded, bro, was like on the money last week.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if we would have told you guys, I talked about the Ravens. I actually felt the Ravens were going to beat the Patriots and cover. I know Will was on.
I was on the Patriots. I would have been wrong on that one. I was on the Patriots.
I think it was an under game. I think you really, really liked, Will, that went what game was that went under?
Ain't no telling, man.
Ain't no telling, man.
I know as we were watching the games, I was like, oh, that hit.
Exactly. We was doing that back and forth. So, but guys, we're excited to give you another edition of That's a Bet podcast. Week 10 is about to get on and cracking. But you know what we got to do before we start the show, Will? A little housekeeping here. So, Will, tell them where they can follow you on social media and all your social media websites and all that good stuff, man.
Group 13 Sports, GROUP 13 Sports. That's Instagram and Twitter. Group 13 Sports.
Yes, sir. And y'all can follow me, your boy 2T's at LOCKETT, the number 2 TS. That's Lockett 2T's on Instagram and Twitter. And make sure you guys follow the show on Instagram. That's a Bet podcast. And on Twitter. Also, make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment on YouTube. And just type in That's a Bet podcast on YouTube and you guys can find us. But sounds like they've been doing that pretty good on YouTube, Will. So I can't even be mad at y'all for that, man. But hey, Will, with that being said, I want to jump right into the slate. It's an action-packed slate this week. I think there's a lot of matchups here that I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Just from my research looking at this, I think this is going to be one of the more high-scoring weeks. I'm looking at it here, Will. The lowest total of the whole weekend is 40.5, and that's Cleveland and Buffalo game here. So I'm gonna tell you guys now, and you heard it here first. Fantasy football is going to be buck wild this weekend. And I'm saying that with 6 teams on a bye. So, Will, without further ado, man, let's start with this Thursday night game. We got Oakland and the Chargers, the LA Chargers, Battle of the West going on. The game currently sits at -1. It opened at a pick'em. The over-under is 48.5. It opened at 47.5. Will, Thursday night, tomorrow night, who you liking this one, man?
I was thinking about this game, and I was riding in my car yesterday. I was thinking, man, I am so tired, man. And then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? If I'm tired, I can't imagine how the Chargers and the Raiders players are feeling right now, man. That Thursday night game is a bad deal, and I think the further we get along in the season, they're going to be more and more tired. So there's really only two ways that the players are going to react to this game, right? They're either going to come out and decide we ain't playing no defense and tackling, and it's going to go way over, or either they're going to come out and be very sluggish on offense and it's going to go under. I'm going to go with the latter part of that. I'm going to take the under. The reason why I'm taking the under, the Chargers games this year is 7-2 to the under. And then in primetime games, we've talked about this before, the under is 19-9. That's 68%. And in divisional games, they're 23-15 at 61%. I like those odds anytime you get into the 60 percentile range when it comes to betting. So I'll take the under in this game.
Okay. I like that. Well, for me, I'm leaning the under in this game. I'm with you on there. The Chargers literally are the number one under team in the NFL this year, right up there with the Dolphins and some of the other poor teams, the Jets. But for me, I want to take the Raiders in this at that +1 now that is sitting. But Thursday night, I just don't trust the spreads unless you're just a team that's shown me all year that you can dominate. Pretty much 2 500 teams here. They're kind of middle of the road. You really don't know what you're going to get Thursday night. So, Will, I'm kind of with you there. I'm going to lean the under here. And just to give you guys some nuggets, the Chargers are 3-0 straight up and 3-0 against the spread in their last 3 games against Oakland with an average combined score of 34 points. So you look at that total there. I think this game is going to be one of those games where it has a good chance to go under. And for me, Phillip Rivers, Derek Carr, which one of these guys are going to play better? I think both teams are going to come out, run the ball. Josh Jacobs, my offensive rookie of the year here. I think he's going to tote the rock. Melvin Ingram, they're going to give him the ball. He's starting to pick it up a little bit. He had 2 touchdowns last week against the Packers. So, Will, it's just a lean for me. I'm going to lean the under here. And we'll see how the line moves, but I may jump on the Raiders here if I see some good value a little bit later on. So I'm going to lean the Chargers. Let's see here. Well, next game, let's hop into the Sunday slate. First game on Sunday, 1:00 game, Kansas City Chiefs. They'll be heading to Tennessee and taking on the Titans. Man, -5.5. The Chiefs are favored on the road, Will. It opened at -3. Patrick Mahomes practicing. I guess he's coming back, Will. The over-under is 48.5. Will, this is pretty simple for me. I know everybody's going to want to take the Chiefs because Mahomes is back, the Mahomes effect. But this is a pass for me. I think the Chiefs defense right now is still getting sliced up by the pass. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, Ryan Tannehill will be in the top 3 in quarterbacks, fantasy football, as far as numbers. You heard it here first. I think he's going to shred them. But too many unknowns for me. Is the Titans defense going to show up? They do play up the competition. We know that, Will, just from playing early in the year. But Mahomes, is his knee really ready? Is he going to be able to really let it loose? Sammy Watkins is a little banged up. They still miss a couple O-linemen, the Chiefs are. So for me, Will, this is a pass game for me. What you like on this one?
We're on the same page. This was a pass for me. I can't bet on this game when I don't know exactly how Patty Mahomes is going to play this week. So until I see him get out there and play an actual game, I can't bet the Chiefs right now. If I did lean any type of way, it would be on the Kansas City side. Kansas City is 22-7 in their last 29 games against AFC teams when they're actually on the road. So I like those numbers. And then when you look at Tennessee, they are 2-12 against the spread against teams that have rush defenses that yield more than 4.7 yards per carry. We know the Chiefs are putrid on defense, especially defending the run, and the Titans seem to not be able to take control of that aspect. So if I leaned anyway, it would be Kansas City, but I'm going to pass this one.
Got you. All right, Will, let's jump into the next game here. Let's go out to Cleveland. Cleveland is a 2.5-point favorite at home. They'll be hosting the Buffalo Bills. Cleveland 2-6, Buffalo 6-2. Over under, like I said, this is the lowest total of the week. It's at 40.5 currently. It opened up at 42.5. So I think a lot of people like are pounding that under right now. Will, you got any action on this one, man? Who you like? Which way you leaning, or is it a
Yeah,
pass?
I'm right with them. I'm pounding the under as well. When I look at the Bills, that's a team that doesn't like to throw the football. They like to play defense and run it. And then when you look at the Browns, we've seen recently, I don't know if it will really all year, the Browns have struggled to be able to protect Baker Mayfield. It's starting to affect how he reads defenses. His feet in the pocket are starting to get a little happy. The best situation for Cleveland is to run the football. You got Kareem Hunt coming back. So when you look at Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, they need to run the football and play defense. It's going to be, as far as the weather is concerned, in the high 30s with 15 to 17 mile per hour winds.
Ooh,
And here's another thing. With Josh Allen starting for the Bills over the last 2 seasons, the under is 8-0 when they play on the road with Josh
wow.
Allen. So I'm going to go ahead and take the under on this play.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna lean that way with you. I told myself for the rest of the season, I'm just not going to touch the Browns after this past week. I had them in a layup parlay, a layup teaser, and they let me down again. I mean, just flat out, just stinking it up against the Broncos. I just can't trust them anymore. So I'm going to pass the game, but I want to give you guys three quick nuggets. The Bills are 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 games as an underdog. So the Bills play pretty good when you count them out. The Browns now are 2-9 against the spread in their last 11 games as home favorites, and they're winless at home this year. So in a lot of ways, I kind of look for them to be winless again at home. And also, where this is the crazy one for me, the Browns are 1-13 against the spread in their last 14 games at home versus teams with the winning record. So that tells you a lot there. So it's a pass for me, Will. I think I would lean the under with you if I had to take something, but I'm a pass on this one. I'm just out on the Browns for the rest of the season, man. I can't do it. Next game, Will, let's Tampa Bay 2-6 Tampa. I feel like Tampa Bay is like 5-2 or something like that. Five
That's
and
what they feel like because of how they've been playing.
Yeah, like they've been playing like they should have been winning games, and they're actually going to be hosting Bruce Arians' old team, the Arizona Cardinals. They're 3-5-1. Kyler Murray should be a fun one here. Jameis Winston with one of the highest totals of the week. I think this is actually the highest total. This opened up at over under 52, and the Bucks are a -4 favorite in this game. Will, for me, Will, this is going to actually be one of my best bets of the week. I actually like the under in this game, the under 52. I think it opened at 54 and has already got driven down a little bit. I don't know if people noticed it last week, but if it wasn't for a couple late scores in that Seattle game and the game flow how it went, Ronald Jones II is starting to get more and more carries for Tampa. I think Bruce Arians is starting to figure out, hey, we have to get the ball out of Jameis Winston's hands in order to have a chance to win, and that's getting them into the fourth quarter at least. I think they're going to stick with that game plan, Will, and pound the rock. Also, Arizona, they're going to get David Johnson back. And one thing I'm seeing now, the past 3 games, Arizona's number of plays have decreased each game by, I think it was 11 plays, and it went 12 plays. I was just looking at that. And I think the head coach of the Cardinals, Kingsbury, is finally realizing the NFL, I mean, I can't run my linemen into the ground like that. And we can't play as fast as we did at Texas Tech, or we can't play that fast or else I won't have a team. So
Right.
one of my best bets of the week, Will, the under 52 here. If you don't feel comfortable with it, put it in a teaser and you can tease it 6.5, 7 points. But best bet of the week, under 52, Arizona and Tampa Bay. Take it to the bank. Will, what you like in this one?
I'm not going to touch this one, but I lean Arizona. Reason why I lean Arizona, they've been decent, or they've been strong this year against the spread. They're 6-3, while Tampa against the spread record is exactly what their real record is. That's 2-6.
Mm.
But I don't trust either team, so that's why I'm gonna stay away from this. But I lean Arizona. The numbers that put it over the top for me, road in the NFL this year, road dogs that are getting 6 points or less, or 60% against the spread. And then road underdogs coming off a loss. That's Arizona. They lost to San Francisco last week. Road dogs coming off a loss are 66% against the spread this year.
Wow.
So for me, I mean, I like those numbers. So I lean Arizona, but I'm not going to actually bet it, but I lean Arizona. So that's all I got on that one.
Gotcha. I feel you on that one. It's tough. I think this game's gonna have some of the most action out of all games coming up this weekend. So that one should be a fun one. It's crazy though, because I wouldn't even. This would probably be a bet. Will if I get the over, I wouldn't be upset. I got a lot of fantasy. I think this is going to be a fun fantasy game as far as running backs go, but I still think it goes under that total. Next game, Will, Battle of New York here. The Jets will be hosting the Giants in this one, right there at MetLife Stadium. Will, this is pretty simple for me. Two bad football teams. The Jets, Le'Veon Bell's knee is questionable now. I had to get an MRI. Sam Darnold still seeing ghosts. I don't know if he's been having an exorcism or what's going on. The Giants had a good opportunity to take out the Cowboys. They stunk it up. Will, this is an easy pass for me. Really no value here in this one. You got any action on this game?
No, this is a pass for me. Just the state of these two franchises in New York. You got Adam Gase, and just listening to him talk, it seems like they've kind of given up, and he sounds defeated. So I don't know which way they're going. They traded away Leonard Williams, so it seems like they're sort of tanking a little bit. And then in New York, across the river, Bay, whatever you want to call it, New York, the Giants. If anything, the sense of urgency with this team is a little bit higher, so that's why I would lean the Giants in this play. Because when you look at the Giants' schedule, they got the Jets, the Bears, Green Bay, Philadelphia. Shoot, I don't know if they're gonna beat. They're not gonna beat Green Bay. Chicago is a toss-up. Philadelphia, they're not gonna beat Philadelphia. But then after that, the last 3 games of the year, they got Miami, Washington, and Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So what we could be looking at with the Giants is this is a situation where Pat Shermer's coaching for his job. They definitely have to win those last 3 games, and this is another game that they need to get. They got to win it. So for me, I would probably bet the over if I had to bet. And then if you put another gun in my head, I would lean the New York Giants. In the last 6 games they played the Jets, the Giants are 5-1 straight up and 4-0-2 against the spread in the last 6 against the Jets. So I just think the Giants are a little bit better ran organization, and they got a little bit more to play for right now than the Jets do. So I'm a pass, but I would lean the over and or the Giants in this situation. So
Gotcha. I feel you there, man. All right, Will. You know what time it is. Let's talk about one of the baddest bands in the land, the Morehouse Tiger Fight. Stop, man. Let me leave my
the
voice.
Morehouse Maroon Tigers.
Tigers.
You know the dude comes in the band.
Bump. That's a shame, man. It's sad that my 1-7 Falcons have become the laughing stock of the NFL. But
the baddest band in the land.
The baddest band in the land, the Morehouse Maroon Tigers. All the band dudes' voices be sounding like that. Ladies and gentlemen. It's like it's the same dude, bro.
Crazy.
Oh, man. But yeah, so the Falcons, terrible Falcons, 1-7. Headed to New Orleans, Will, 7-1, 6-game winning streak for the Saints. They're rolling. Both teams coming off of a bye week last week, and it's weird because the talk around Atlanta here is like, man, it's a rivalry game. It's the Saints. We always play the Saints tough. The spread is -13 here. Saints are favorite at home. Over under is 51.5. They think it's going to be a lot of points scored because the Falcons give up 31.5 points a game, Will. This is pretty easy for me, man, and it's hard for me to take this double-digit spread, but I think I'll actually put 2 units on the Saints -13 here, and I can say that pretty confidently that this is one of my best bets. The Saints are 11-1 against the spread in their last 12 games after consecutive against the spread wins, and they're on a roll. And the Falcons are 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 road games versus Saints, Will. I mean, they just don't play them well on the road. In New Orleans, it's been weird as of late. And the Saints are 8-2 straight up and 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 home games versus their division. So the Saints have dominated pretty much the NFC South in their division. Will, I know the Falcons are saying the right things in the media right now. Dan Quinn is saying, hey, new season. We can, go undefeated here. It starts now. The worst thing you could have is to go to New Orleans to start the second half of the season. I actually think the Falcons get destroyed in this game. I hope they prove me wrong, but they just haven't shown me anything. That defense just isn't good, Will. So best bet of the week, give me the Saints -13 to cover that pretty easily at home. Take it to the bank. What you like in this one, Will?
I'm going to fade you in this one. I'm going to go ahead. I don't like the Falcons, but anytime I'm getting double digits like that, when I look at the weapons they have, I gotta roll the dice and take a shot with it.
You're you're
We know how
rolling the damn dice, all right.
I'm gonna roll the damn dice. We know that everybody's pretty much gonna take the Saints in this situation, but I'm gonna look at it like this: the Falcons are coming off a bye, so are the Saints, but both teams have are able to rest a little bit, and that dark cloud that was looming over the franchise of whether or not Dan Quinn would be fired or not, I think that cloud has passed by. They didn't fire him, so maybe that takes a little bit of stress off the players. Not that they care; they're still getting paid regardless, but I think that them knowing that their coach is here now can allow him to relax a little bit. Matt Ryan had an extra week to heal. If he plays this week, then I like the Falcons plus 13. If he doesn't play, all bets are off. And then I also lean the under in this game because it's either going to go one or two ways. The Falcons are going to do enough on defense to slow the Saints down and be able to score a little bit, or the Falcons aren't going to do their part at all. And like you said, then your bet comes into play where the Saints, destroy them and the game still goes under because they don't score. So, but for me, I'm going to take the Falcons plus 13. It's just in the NFL, in a rivalry game like this, where the games are typically played close, I just got to take those 13 points.
Got you. One last nugget here from me, Will. If Matt Ryan does play and his prop comes out, excuse me, guys, I think it'd probably be in the 310 to 318 range over under passing yards. I really, really like his prop over his passing yards against the Saints. I think they're going to have to sling the rock. Obviously, with being a two-score dog, I think if they're going to have a chance to win, Matt Ryan's going to have to show out Julio and those guys. So I really like Matt Ryan's prop. It's just something I was thinking about here. So, all right, Will, let's go to a AFC North, battle between the Baltimore Ravens, who just knocked off the Patriots. They're on that high 6-2. They're a 10-point favorite, Will, minus 10, heading to Cincinnati, taking on Ryan Finley. Ryan Finley. Sounds like you have to say it like that. Ryan Finley, quarterback for the Bengals. 44.5 is the over-under currently, Will. Will, you got any action for this one, man? This is a lean, a pass. What you got on this?
Yeah, I'm going to bet the under in this game. The reason why I'm going to bet the under is because there are a couple of key stats that stuck out at me when I looked at this, right?
Okay.
Baltimore is coming off of a big time win against New England. So that's definitely in the back of my mind when I'm thinking about betting this game. The one thing I'm thinking about is, okay, they just came off an emotional victory at night against the Patriots at home. Maybe they come out a little flat in this game, right? These teams are very familiar with each other. They play each other twice a year, every year. And, for me, Cincinnati, in their last 10 games, when playing an opponent that was coming off of playing New England the week before, Cincinnati is 8-2 against the spread. But
Whoa.
furthermore, Baltimore, after playing New England, the next week, Baltimore is 1-8 against the spread. Now, when I look at that, that would make me think, okay, you know what? I'm going to bet Cincinnati. But all bets are off when you throw Ryan Finley out there. So being that Finley is the quarterback, that then shifts my focus to taking the under. Because if I don't think Cincy can cover in the game, I damn sure don't think that they're going to score a lot of points. So that forces me to bet the under instead of taking Cincinnati's, against the spread. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the under. And then just another thing, Cincinnati in their games this year are 5-2-1 to the under and 8-1 to the under in their last games when they're underdogs of more than 7 points. So the under is screaming at me for this one. I'll take the under.
Got you. Will, this one was tough for me. I went back and forth. It took everything in my power not to take the Ravens here. I have Lamar Jackson on my fantasy team. I picked the Ravens last week. I'm high on them. But one thing I've learned in the betting world, you have to erase the slate each week. You can't look at a previous week and just automatically peg somebody into, for the next week, pencil them in. Hey, they're going to, based off of last week, they're going to do this. The Ravens are 1-6 straight up in their last 7 games on the road versus the Bengals. So that tells you something. It's just something weird about going to Cincinnati for them.
Right.
Especially now, you just came off a primetime game against the Pats. Now you have to go to 0-8 Cincinnati. The stadium's going to be half full. Nobody's going to be really watching. Will they really get up for the game? I don't know there. So it was tough for me. And the Bengals are 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 games at home. So it's like, okay, what's going to give here? The biggest factor to me that made me lean the Bengals here plus 10 is the Ravens are 2-10 against the spread in their last 12 games as a double-digit favorite, Will. So I have to pass it because there's too many unknowns. Is Ryan Finley going to be the second coming? Is AJ Green really going to help the Bengals that much? He's projected to play this week, but who knows? He's coming off a major foot surgery. So for me, Will, this is just a lean. This is just a lean to the Bengals if I had to lean one way. But I'm going to pass on this game. I just can't touch it, and we'll see what happens with this one. Let's see here. Well, next game on the slate, Carolina Panthers. And the news came out, Will, I know you've probably heard Cam Newton went on IR. So this is the Kyle Allen-led Carolina Panthers and Christian McCaffrey. They're traveling to Green Bay, Lambeau Field, and the Packers coming off that ugly loss to the Chargers. Will the Packers be motivated this week? Packers are a 5-point favorite at home. It opened up at -7. Everybody hammered the Carolina Panthers to get it down to -5, Will. Currently, over-under is 47 in this game. Will you have any action on this one? Are you going to be passing, leaning, or you betting?
I'm taking the under in this game. Carolina, I think they'll be a little fat coming off that nice victory last week against Tennessee. I'm not sold on Kyle Allen. From the jump, I hadn't been sold on Cam Newton, so I think that's a good move for them to put him on IR. But I'm definitely not sold on the guy they got. They just need a new quarterback. So I expect him to come out there, not produce a lot of points. And they're playing at Lambeau Field. The weather's going to be in the low 20s with winds at 15 miles per hour. Since 2003, Mike, the under hits at a 57% clip in conference games at Lambeau Field. So with that weather that I just named. So
got you.
I think Green Bay will come out and do their thing. They're used to playing in that weather. They're going to bounce back from how they played last week. But ultimately, this game will go under for me, and I like that.
Got you. Well, for me, I don't know. This was one of the trickier ones for me, but I did my due diligence, and this is going to be one of my best bets of the week here. I actually like the Panthers here +5, and I'm gonna tell you why. The Panthers are 4-1 straight up and against the spread in their last 5 road games, and that's mainly the only one that they haven't was the 49ers game. Obviously, they went on the road and got destroyed, but Christian McCaffrey will. I mean, white boy or not, and I've heard people in the media already say if this was a black guy, African-American running back doing this type of thing, he would probably be on every billboard in the world.
Right.
I mean, he's unreal. And I think I saw it last week. One thing that gives the Green Bay defense problems is our running backs that can catch out of the backfield that are multifaceted. And Eckler gave the Packers a problem, as well as Melvin Gordon. That 1-2 punch was pretty good. And the 1-2 punch is in Christian McCaffrey all by himself. And it's good news. Okay, the Packers got Adams back. Cool. I think Devontae Adams will eat. I actually think he's going to be #1 fantasy wideout. And that Rodgers-Adams stack will be pretty sick there. But for me, Will, I think the ultimate thing here, the Packers are 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games before they go on a bye. And to me, that's kind of telling. I think the Chargers game really beat them up. I think it exposed them a little bit here. I think Ron Rivera is going to take advantage of that. And I think the Packers are ready to be on the bye. I know they really look sluggish. It's like they tried to get going out there in LA and they really couldn't do it. Had to travel to the West Coast, came back here this week, and they're probably looking at the Panthers like, oh yeah, we're gonna, attack Kyle Allen. But I think the Panthers here +5 is one of my best bets of the week. I really like them to cover this game Sunday, 4:25 kickoff. Will, give me the Panthers +5, man. I think this will be a good one. All right, guys, next game here. This is an easy one for me, Will. Bears hosting the Lions. Spread comes out -2.5 here. I kind of have a rule. When I see a -2.5 line, 9 times out of 10, I'm taking the dog here. But I'm just going to stay away from it because I don't trust either one of these teams right now. The over-under is 42, which is pretty low. Trubisky, I don't trust them. I think they need to start Chase Daniels, in my opinion. Matt Nagy does. Detroit, they have no passing defense in the secondary. They've been getting shredded up. What team is going to show up? Snacks Harrison is still out. I just don't see any value in this game here, so I'm going to pass this game. You got any action on it?
Yeah, I've been the under king this week, man. I like
Okay.
the under in this game.
Okay.
I don't like what I see from Chicago on offense, and to me, it seems like the whole team morale is down now because the Bears, the defense isn't playing as well as it used to, and I think that's partly in frustration because of what they got going on at the quarterback position. So, um, they've lost, now four straight, and I talked a little bit about this, not this past week, but the week before. When the Bears play on a losing streak of more than 3 games, they are 10-0 to the under,
Wow.
right? So
Hold
for
on.
the
Say that
Lions,
again, Will.
they're 10-0 to the under in their last 10 games when playing following a losing streak of 3 or more games.
Wow.
They're 10-0 to the under. The Lions, they're a dome team. They like to play indoors. They play the Vikings indoors. So two of the teams in the NFC North, excuse me, dome teams, and two of them are outdoors. So the Lions are used to playing inside, right?
Yeah.
Well, this game is going to be low 30s once again up there in the Midwest, 16-mile-per-hour winds. I think the Lions, there won't be an influx of offense in this game. Um, and here's everything that you need to know right here. And this is why I'm jumping all over this under. This line opened up at 43.5 and it's dropped to 42. So that's a point and a half. This shows you that the Sharps are hammering the under.
Yeah.
And I'm on the same side with the Sharps.
Yep.
In division games excuse me, divisional unders that drop a point or more are 57% under since 2003. So
Hmm.
the numbers just speak to me with the under. And then when I look at the weather conditions and who you got playing quarterback for the Bears, I like the under in this game.
Well, you know what, man? You might have just persuaded me, man. I think I'm actually going to take that under with you on this game. Now that you said all that, that's pretty telling. And if there's anybody that can take a game under, I know it's Mitchell Trubisky. So,
Absolutely.
because he is absolutely garbage. You hear that, Chris Gaston? Yes, he's garbage. Don't ever say you'll take Mitchell Trubisky ever if you're starting a franchise between a couple quarterbacks. We're not going to get into that, Will,
He
but
was
he
talking about on
knows.
Madden because he got the speed, so he's gonna make him be good on Madden. He was
Yeah.
talking about Madden.
Yeah, okay. He must have been because I don't know what the hell you talking about, Mitchell Trubisky. Damn, Mitch or Mitchell. Nah, I call him Sorry Trubisky, but that's for a whole nother show. Um, next matchup here, Will, the Dolphins. They're headed to Indianapolis. The the Will I told you so Dolphins. My boy Willie J sent me right before that game started. Said, "Hey man, I think the Dolphins are gonna cover this game pretty easily." Cause who was at the game, man? You had
Oh
some
yeah,
fam there,
my
huh?
dad and my sister. I said, look, man, whenever they go to the game, them boys win. We were at that Patriots
Yep.
game last year when they
Yep.
won.
At that crazy what was that? Drake.
Yeah,
Kenyon Drake had that
the
wild play.
the
So
Miami Miracle.
yep, the Miami Miracle. And the crazy thing is I sent that out to my clients too, man. As soon as you sent me that, I was like, yep, I'm taking it. Look, when Papa Judd there, boy, he be bringing that. I don't know what's up. I don't know if it's that bald head. They be rubbing that bald head before they run out with. Can't get that good luck from Papa Judd, man. Shout out to Mr. Judson, man. But yeah, man. So they're headed out to Indy. The Dolphins been a surprise team. Will you like any action on this game?
I'm passing on this one, man.
Okay.
I don't know who's playing. Brian Hoyer did look pretty decent last week for the Colts. Don't know who's gonna play, and although the Dolphins have been playing very tough or playing, with a lot of energy and playing hard these last few weeks, I don't know about them playing in this spot up in Indianapolis. So I'm gonna pass this one.
Got you. For me, Will, this is actually going to be another one of my best bets. I love the under in this game. Under the what is it? The 44. It is right now. It was 44 and a half. And the minus 10 and a half here that the Colts are favored by, it looks juicy just because the Dolphins are 0-7 straight up and 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 games as a double digit underdog. But the unknowns from the Colts, who's going to be at quarterback, T.Y. Hilton's out. They're they're missing a couple guys on defense. I do think the Colts win this game pretty easily, Will. I think it's going to be I think they win by, a touchdown somewhere in there. Dolphins may score late to backdoor cover here possibly, but for me the under is the play here just because the defense of the Colts last week, if it wasn't for some bad turnovers in the green zones for both teams there, the Steelers and the Colts, that under was I mean, it was almost 12 points under until those big turnovers there, a couple fumbles. And Brian Hoyer, he's on average in his career all the games he started, he averages 1.8 interceptions a game. So he's going to throw you the ball a couple times. That's just what Hoyer does. And you know who's on the other side, Will. Mr. Fitzpatrick, he's going to turn the ball over there. So I think with that being said, as long as they're not turning the ball over deep in their own zone, I think this game goes under pretty easily here. Just because the Colts are going to take the ball at even if Brissett plays. I mean, he has a sprained MCL. He's not going to be that mobile at all. So they're going to try to feed Mr. Mack there. And the Dolphins, they've been running the ball pretty good with Balaj. He came in last week. So for me here, Will, I really like the under here, the under 44. That's one of my best bets of the week. And if I had to lean one way, I would lean the Dolphins with a backdoor cover here. So next game on the slate, Will, the Rams, LA Rams, they headed to Pittsburgh. This is going to be a cross-country trip for them. Weather's going to be a little bit chilly. You know, I don't know how well the Rams play in the cold weather, but they're a 3.5-point favorite on the road in Pittsburgh, and the over/under here, Will, is 44. For me, this is a pass. I really don't see any value in this game, Will. I didn't really spend too much time on it, just because I don't know what Steelers team is going to show up, what defense is going to show up. At times, they look like world beaters against the Colts. Then at times, again, they look like that team that started out the season 1-4. They won their last 3, Will, but just a pass. I really don't see any value here. You got any action on this one?
Yeah. I'm gonna. My main play was the under in this game. Okay. I don't like what I've seen from Pittsburgh on the offensive side. The defense has been excellent the last few games, but I don't like what I'm seeing from Mason Rudolph at quarterback, and so I just like the under. I think the Rams defense is starting to come along. Jalen Ramsey was a terrific addition for them. I think they're playing better on defense. So my under is the first play. Another thing I want you guys to know, the LA Rams in their last 7 games against the AFC North, 7-0 to the under. So I'm going to take the under in this spot because I like the way both defenses are playing. And then the other thing that I'm starting to lean and maybe turn into a like, the LA Rams. I just like how they're playing. Recently, they've been playing well. Love the defense, and I don't trust Pittsburgh on offense. And so for me, the Rams have also been 6-2 against the spread this year. That's pretty strong. They're 4-4 straight? No, 5-3 straight up, but they're 6-2 against the number. So I like that. And the thing that I'll say about the Rams, or really any team, since 2003, Lockett, road favorites that are coming off a bye have gone 61-27 against the spread.
Wow.
That's 69%, man. So I think I like that as well. So I like the Rams to cover, and I like the under in this game.
Nice. Okay. All right, Will. I see you there, man. Shoot. Got me leaning the Rams a little bit. I just don't trust that West Coast trip, man. I don't know. It's just weird. All right, Will. Let's talk about one of the best matchups of the week, I think. The Minnesota Vikings are 6-3, headed to the Cowboys, currently sitting at 5-3. The boys, a -3 favorite at home. Over under is 47.5. It opened at 45.5, Will. So it sounds like to me, both the Sharps think they're going to be scoring a lot of points here. Will, what kind of action you got on this one, man?
I'm not going to bet anything on this, but I lean the Cowboys in this spot. Reason why I say that, we've talked about this before. Kirk Cousins is excellent in early 1 o'clock games, and he's horrible in primetime games.
Yes, sir.
The spread, and then what did he say the spread was? 3?
Yep.
Well,
-3.
To me, I don't think these teams are even, like 100% even. I think the Cowboys are a little bit better than them, and the reason why I say that, they got a better running game. The Cowboys' top receiver is just as good, if not better, than any of the Vikings' top receiver. The Cowboys' defense, you could argue that it's, when they're playing, they're just as good as the Vikings. Vikings might be a little bit better, but then I think when you really get down to the nitty gritty, I think Dak Prescott is much better in clutch situations than Kirk Cousins is. So I would say the Cowboys are maybe a 1 or 2 points better than the Vikings. And then when you put them at home with that 3-point advantage, I think this line should have been at least 4.5 to the Cowboys. So if you make me lean, I'm going to take the Cowboys in this situation, but I'm just going to sit back and watch this one. I got Zeke in fantasy, so I'm going to watch it for fantasy purposes, but I'm not going to bet this one.
Gotcha. For me, Will, this is another one of my best bets, probably my last one of the week, but I love the under in this game, 47.5. Last week, Will, I can go ahead and say it now. Probably had one of the worst bad beats of the year for me. That pickup fumble at the end of the damn game. I had the under the 49 Giants and Cowboys. It was sitting at 48, 11 seconds left. Jones, why are you dropping back to pass the ball anyway? Strip sack, fumble. Not only does a fat ass lineman try to jump on the ball, but he misses it and kicks it, and the DB for the Cowboys takes it back, scores. The freaking under loses, man. I couldn't believe it. And it killed a parlay. It killed a perfect night. I mean, everything. So, but I'm going to go back to that well in this game, Will. So the total has gone under in 11 of the Vikings' last 14 night games. So that's kind of gives you an idea. Will talks about it all the time, y'all, about Kirk Cousins. If it's any other slot time after 1 o'clock, Will, what is he stinks it up, right? Yeah. So this is a night game, prime time. And since joining the Vikings, Kirk Cousins' primetime record in games after 8 p.m., he's 1-4-1 against the spread and 0-2-1 on the road. Cousins' career primetime record is against the spread is 2-6-1. If Cousins is going to play shitty, he's the quarterback, right?
Right.
That tells me the Vikings ain't going to be scoring no damn points. So I'm taking the fact that I think he's going to have a shitty game. The only way this game goes over is if Dalvin Cook runs for 200 and Zeke goes for 200. Because I think this game is going to be on the back end. Both teams have pretty darn good secondaries. You got Xavier Rhodes out there for the Dolphins. You got my boy, what's his name? Byron
Jones.
Byron Jones for the Cowboys. So their secondaries are pretty good. And I think these coaching staffs, it's going to take a while. I think Kellen Moore still figuring out the NFL. Mike Zimmer, I think he's going to have something for Kellen Moore in that offense. So I think it's going to be a lot of running. That clocks are going to tick. So one of my best bets of the week is that under 47.5. I actually caught it at 47. But I like it there too. I was going to take the under if it was under 46. Anywhere 46 or above, I'm taking the under. So I really like it, man. It's weird, Will, because as much as I want to take the Cowboys here -3, I just don't trust them, man. They just always let me down. Like it's one of those things when they're in the spot where they're supposed to win and they're the favorite at home and all this. It's just like they just stink it up. So I really can't do it. And one thing I can say, and this is kind of a nugget that I think is going to go a long way for me not to even touch the spread on this. The Vikings are 0-6 straight up and against the spread in their last 6 games as an underdog. When I see something like that, Will, it's like, ooh, Cowboys. Yes, I'm taking them.
But then it's, ooh, Cowboys. No.
Exactly. Anybody but the Cowboys, I literally would jump on it, man. So I can't do it. But best bet of the week here, give me the under. The 47 is where I caught it at. Primetime lights are always too much for Kirk Cousins. And Adam Thielen is going to be out too. You guys remember that. He's going to be out with that hamstring. So they're going to lock in on Diggs. Give me the under here, Will. I like one of my best bets. Last game of the weekend and going into Monday, Will. I think this is going to be one of the best Monday Night Football games, I think, of the NFL season. The 8-0 49ers host the 7-2 Seahawks. Will, man, the 49ers -6 favorite. Over under is 46.5. It opened at 44. So I think a lot of people saw last week Seattle against Tampa, and they've been pounding that over. Will, I'm leaning the Seahawks +6, man. I'm leaning that way. I think this divisional game is going to be a close, hard-fought battle. I think a lot of folks are falling in love with this over for some reason. I mean, Seattle's not at home.
Not me. I ain't falling in love with it.
Seattle's not at home. Y'all must forget, just because the 49ers gave up a lot of points to the Cardinals Thursday night, short week, a lot of people was just like, man, they finna put up all these points. I don't see it, Will. For me, the biggest thing that I saw, though, that has me leaning the Seahawks are 8-0 straight up and 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 games before a bye. So it's almost like Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, like, hey, man, Let's earn this break. Let's come out here, show these guys, let's have a good week. Hey, we win this game, I'll give you guys some more time off. I don't know what they're doing out there, but I really like that the Seahawks are 5-1 straight up in their last 6 games, period. And they're not getting a lot of credit. I shout out to my boy Brandon G, man. We were talking about this on the phone. Like, I swear the Seahawks are supposed to be 1-6 if it wasn't for Russell Wilson's late heroic antics. But Mr. MVP is what I'm going to call him for the rest of the year. Russell, I think he's good enough to keep them in the game on the road. And that's what the game is going to come down to. Him making that front miss sacks, Will, and kind of beating them at their game. Extending plays, extending drives. Cuzzo, Tyler Lockett, shout out to you, another fantasy stud. Emmanuel Sanders. I'm building y'all FanDuel line right now. Emmanuel Sanders, Tyler Lockett, Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. Take it to the bank. But give me this Seahawks +6 here, Will. And if you want to tease it, this is a great teaser call too here to tease at 6.5 points. But Seahawks +6, one of my best bets. Will, you got the action for this one? What you're talking about, man?
You pretty much talked about everything. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm taking the Seahawks. I caught it at +6.5, and so I'm going to take the Seahawks. I think this will be a close game. I think San Francisco will win it straight up, playing at home, and continue being undefeated. But I just like what Russell. I think Russell Wilson, and this is a whole nother discussion. I think he's a little bit overrated, but for what he means to that team and what he does on a week-to-week basis, you gotta roll with Russell Wilson in this situation. We talked about it a little bit earlier with the against the spread for road dogs that are 6 points, and that's the Seahawks. So I'm gonna take the Seahawks +6.5 and 49ers to win straight up. The under is a great play as well.
Ooh, nice. I like it. All right, Will, real quick, before we wrap this show up, y'all, I've been having a lot of people ask Will, and we just got to do it. This is kind of off the cuff. This is me and Will just dropping our knowledge of just football and understanding the game. Will, Alabama, LSU, what's up with it, man? Who you like? Which way you leaning? Like, what's your best lean in this game based off of what you've seen all this year in college football?
As far as the total is concerned, I'd probably take the over. Alabama doesn't look as strong this year on defense, and maybe it's because they had a lot of turnover on defense, meaning they got a lot of young guys that are still starting to learn. So for the total, I would probably lean the over. LSU has that new offense this year with Joe Brady calling the plays, and they've been awesome. Joe, what's the quarterback's name? Joe Burrow. Yep. Joe Burrow's got 30 touchdowns and 4 picks this year. So, the Joker's on pace for 40. You know what I mean? Yeah. 40 touchdowns in college. That's big time. So, I think there will be a lot of offense in this game, but I can't. I'm just not going to do it. I know every now and then they slip up, but I'm not fading Alabama at Alabama. We already know Alabama goes to Baton Rouge and dominates. But with them playing in Tuscaloosa, I just got to roll with the tide. 6.5, I think they can cover that. So for me, I'm not going to bet it, but if you ask me what I think, I'd have to, if I'm putting my money on it, I'm going to bet Saban against Ed Orgeron any day of the week.
Got you. For me, man, this is kind of, I'm in the same boat. These type of games are just so much, two Titans going at it. It's going to be a lot of unknowns, but I actually would lean the under in this game. The total has gone under in 7 of LSU's last 9 games versus Alabama. I think these two teams, it's almost like the coaches don't want to mess up their opportunity to win. So they're going to, they slow play it. They're going to be real cautious. Not a lot of fourth down going for it type of things here. And LSU is 13-4-1 against the spread in the last 18 games versus the conference. And that includes, in that stretch, 2 games versus Bama. I know Bama's a juggernaut, but I think a lot of people are going to jump on the over so much, Will, that I think it's actually going to be drive it up right at the last moment, and it's so you can take that under to catch it at good value. So for me, I would lean the under. I'm not really taking the spread. I would lean the LSU Tigers here, just because I think they're a better football team overall, in my opinion, this year from top to bottom. But those wideouts for Alabama are scary, man. I can't lie. Them dudes could take it 80 at any point. So I'm going to stay away from that, but I would lean the under. So there y'all have it, man. All y'all talking about, y'all going to do the college football pick. What's up with that? Make sure y'all catch us and listen to us. So, but Will, man, it was cool, man. Any last thoughts or anything before we get up out of here for this weekend?
No, man. I purposely didn't label which were my best bets yet. I want to study a little bit more because it's still early in the week. So, y'all will know what my best bets are by the weekend. But just keep studying, getting all the information you can get, and get the money.
Gotcha. Yep. It's always gonna be that, man. Will, hold on, man. You hear that music?
I hear it, man. It's time to roll.
Hey, you know what that means, people. When y'all hear that music, it's time to get out of here, man. Will, go on, take us home, man.
Study all your information, and if you see a bet, make a bet. That's a bet.
That's the bet. Hey, for Willie J, man, I'm 2T's. That's a bet podcast. We will see you guys next week, week 11 NFL. Hey, we'll see y'all, man. Peace.